As someone who's been a girly pop from what seems like the very beginning, I am so very excited, but also so very nervous about this video. As you can probably tell by the thumbnail title, everything of the sorts, we are going to be reading Just Friends by Miss Haley Pham. I have been so excited for not only this book, but just a book from her for what feels like ages. I know even before she had mentioned getting serious about writing this book, I had known for a long time that she was writing a book or she was interested in writing a novel, but it didn't come across as something that was really just being focused on wholeheartedly. So I knew it was coming at some point. I just didn't think it was going to be coming this soon. So when she actually announced that she was going to be getting serious about writing a book and going full force and doing it and trying to get it published, I was super excited because, again, I've been waiting for that for a long time. I knew it was coming at some point. I just didn't think that it would be here today and in my hand. Now, as someone that has been inspired by Haley from the very beginning of the YouTube journey to still now every single video I watch, I am kind of scared because I do worry that I might not like it because I'm not a super big romance girly. We kind of talked about this recently. I am very picky when it comes to romance, and I haven't specifically found the exact type of romance that I enjoy. I think I usually prefer more literary fiction with romance hints. I don't love necessarily full-blown romance books from what I've noticed. So if this is more literary, hopefully I will enjoy it a little bit more, but it is always nerve-wracking to look up to somebody and take something that they have created, made, done, whatever, and not really love it with your whole chest. So I am a little scared about that, but nonetheless, I'm not going to let it deter me from reading it. I'm not going to let it sway my opinion at all. I'm just going to read it, be honest, and hopefully I enjoy it. Let's get into this one.
So don't let me go, nah, 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 nah. I'm all up in that love haze, so where do we go, nah, nah? Just let me know that I am safe here in your arms. I wanna stay, stay. I'm slipping away.
20 pages in and we just got introduced to Declan. So far I'm really liking it. I do understand how people are talking about a lot of the word choices. I really don't mind. I'm not somebody that really picks up heavily on the writing style of things. It's just if it jumps out at me I notice it, but I'm not mad about it. I think so far it's really good. I'm enjoying it. I like where the story is headed. I like the setting and I'm excited to keep going. Alright, I'm inside again and back in my comfies from earlier. It said it was supposed to be like 80 something degrees outside today, so I put on shorts and a t-shirt, and the sun would stay out for like 5-second increments, and it was so windy that when the sun would go away it would just be windy on me and I got really cold. So I'm back inside, the air is on, so I wanted to get in my warmies again. But I am a little over 100 pages in this one so far. I kind of was trying to update every 100 or so pages. I think I figured out my issue with Blair and Declan. Usually when I'm reading a friends to lovers type of romance, we're watching them grow up more together. There's far more backstory scenes of their relationship as friends as they're growing together. So we're seeing them at a very young age and forward, and the things that they're doing for each other and the little subtle hints that they might actually be interested in each other but they're not acting on it. And so I think for this one, we missed out on a lot of that backstory. We jumped into the main part of the story, so the present tense, but then the past tense, all of their friendship had already come and gone and happened, and we just know that they're friends, but we don't really see the buildup of that. Also, I really enjoy the visuals of them finding out that they're into each other, like the subtle little remarks or the little tiny things that happen where they're second guessing or overanalyzing every little thing that happens, and I don't think that that happens very much in this. It's very much just straight to the point. Like, we find out that they were friends for a really long time. There's not really much subtlety that goes into showing that they're into each other than, you know, one day things changed a little bit, we looked into each other's eyes a little bit too deeply and then we kissed and then now we're dating. So I don't love that. I do wish that there was a little bit more backstory that we were getting, a little bit more, I guess, foreshadowing with the actions that we're seeing with the characters. So unfortunately that's not my favorite. I do wish that we were getting a little bit more out of it, but it's not that big of a deal. I just don't feel super connected with the characters because I don't feel like we got enough backstory for that. I don't feel like we have enough reason that we've read to want to support their relationship, especially getting into the relationship in the past tense. Obviously, the present tense, it's going to have a lot to do with what happened in the past and then the way that they communicated and move forward with that relationship, so that's gonna be fine. But just the past tense, I don't really have a strong connection with them. I think they're fine, I think it's sweet, I think it's super cute still. I'm enjoying the overall story, but I do wish that we got a little bit more out of that. It kind of just feels like we're focusing a little bit more on the like literary aspect of it and not the romance. And again, I'm not like mad about it. I do wish that we got a little bit more. I wish there was a little bit more yearning that we were actually able to read, but you know, that's just, we know that that's what I like. I like the yearning that we're reading, and I like the watching them come together and like fight it for as long as possible. So for me, I feel like they came together really early on as well. I'm like 100 pages in and they're already dating in the past tense. Obviously, we have the present tense that we have to worry about too, which usually I like the past tense better. We'll see my thoughts about the past versus the present on this one. I think that I might end up liking the present tense more than the past tense, which is very, very unusual for me. That's that. I'm on page 136. We're going to keep trucking along on this one. Let's keep reading.
Walking around in this love haze. I wanna stay in this feeling, but let me know that I am safe here in your arms. I wanna stay. I'm slipping away. Oh, so don't let me go now. Your love is exceptional. It fills me up. It's out of control, but baby,
Another thing that I've noticed that's not quite my favorite is the amount of aggressive, explosive arguments they're having. There's things that happen and feelings that are had, which is completely fine, completely normal, but it kind of turns into this who has it worse type of argument. And I think that type of stuff is kind of frustrating to read sometimes, because both people are allowed to have opinions, both people are allowed to have feelings and feel the same things in tandem with other people. So I think having Blair come at Declan for, you know, being upset about things that are happening in his life that pertain to him and the way that he's being raised and everything like that and the way that his parents act, she is taking that and she's like, well, at least you have parents, at least your parents, you know, love you and everything like that, might abandon me. And I think comments like that are so unnecessary and so frustrating to read, especially when they're continuously happening. I think there have been about like 2 to 3-ish things like that, and maybe that's intentional, that probably is intentional, but I still don't like that. I think that's very frustrating to read. Like, I can say, hey, I don't really like this is happening in my life and I don't really care for it, but that doesn't mean like I'm saying that I have it any worse than you do. And I think that the fact that it's being taken that way is a little annoying. So that's the only other thing that I'll say right now that I'm not a super big fan of. But again, that's not that big of a deal. Hopefully it doesn't keep happening though. I think, you know, once, twice, maybe 3 times is enough. Hopefully we can push past that and realize that it's not just like that. But I think even it's been like the past tense and the present tense, so I'm not really sure. Maybe it'll take a little while to get away from that. I'm kind of just like, maybe if they don't talk at all, then we don't have to worry about it. But I don't know, maybe they just need to have light, gentle conversations, which hopefully they do, because I don't want who has it worse. But I did just want to throw that out there. That's kind of getting on my nerves as well. But again, other than those couple things, still pretty good, still trucking along, and I will update you here shortly.
it's out of control. Your love is exceptional. It fills me up. It's out of control, Oh, baby, I love the rush. It overflows. It's out of control, I'm in love, deep in love with you, baby, yeah. 'Cause your love is exceptional. Ooh.
We are officially at 200 pages in. Just wanted to update again with where we're at. We are hitting that resolution from the past era. I don't know if we're gonna be getting any like past tense chapters or anything like that anymore. I was very confused because usually when you're reading a book like this and there's past and present timelines, usually it's like very alternating. So you're reading the past, you're reading the present, past, present, you know, so on and so forth. But you get to that part where they're about to resolve a conflict and you hit the next chapter, but then it jumps back into that past timeline where it actually reveals everything that happened. And it was kind of unusual because in this book, it didn't jump back into the previous timeline. It kept on the same present timeline, which is kind of unusual because I feel like it leaves you on a cliffhanger. We didn't get a cliffhanger on this, but we were listening to Declan explain the events that happened in the past, which I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. I think it would have been really cool to get that chapter in the past tense, but also it be from his point of view to really just drive home what was happening. So that way we're kind of in the moment of that, not just like a retelling of it or a reliving. But I'm not saying that it was bad. It was definitely very unusual and not something that I expected. Because again, with most romance books, there's a very cookie cutter way everything is done. That's just one of those things that I notice all romance books do. Kind of same thing with like a third act breakup. All of them have it for the most part. So very unique, I'll give it that. I'm still enjoying it, still pushing through it. I think it's good. I just think right now, as I'm going on with it, I'm liking it. I'm still eager to read it. I've just been binging it all day. But I think it's very simple. Everything is written in a very flowery and kind of wordy, simile way. And I think it's fun to read that. I do enjoy that. But with a simplistic story, a writing style like that isn't, like, it's just not meshing for me. Surprisingly, I have really enjoyed the more literary side of the book. And I don't even know if I'm using that term properly. I'm probably not. But just the stuff that's not focused on the romance, like the grief and all that type of stuff, the like the aunt and then what she's left in the will, all of that. I think that that's actually been really entertaining for me. Not entertaining like in a good way, but I've enjoyed reading that part of the story. So I think that if this was maybe subplots of romance, which I am getting subplot vibes for a full romance book, I guess that's how to explain it. Maybe I need to just stop talking and just finish reading it and then I can talk about it more at the end. I probably will do that, but we are chugging along. We have about 100-ish pages left. That's my thoughts as of page 208. So we are gonna move on with 209. See how it goes the rest of the way.
You got someone new, I know it. Yeah, but I will keep on denying it. Yeah, yeah. Gotta keep my emotions from running wild. Need someone to hold my horses. Yeah, 'cause I go fast, yeah, I go hard. Wanna find some peace, so I pray to God to find a way to.
Did you hear that?
Did you toot?
No, that was the baby.
Sure it was.
Blame it on the baby.
Is that why it stinks?
Yeah.
Cover. Wanna find a place to rest, be human for a while. Just be human for a while. I'm messed up, oh yeah, I know it. All alone with mixed emotions. Yeah. Gotta keep my temper from running wild.
Somebody tell me why the acknowledgements made me tear up. A little bit, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, obviously my eyes been running this like entire time, but man, that made me tear up a little bit. That was so sweet. I like that. Alright, it's final opinion time. Let's get into this. I've officially finished Just Friends, and I cannot express how inspiring this is to see someone that I have looked up to and have continuously been inspired by work on something in like a new creative outlet. But I have opinions. First thing about this one, I am sure that this is intentional. I'm sure that this is the way that she wanted to write this book, so I'm not faulting this by any means. But for me, one of the biggest letdowns of this book was that it didn't feel like a romance to me. It felt more literary. I've been saying that. I don't even know what literary fiction means, okay? It doesn't necessarily feel like a romance book to me. It feels like a lot more. It feels like we're diving into more of these deeper topics, but there is some romance in it. With me saying that, it doesn't feel like a romance to me. It doesn't feel like a romance book at all because I just didn't really feel the romance throughout the entire story. I think from the get, there was no backstory. There was no information about how their relationship came to be. So we don't have anything to go off of to be into their relationship necessarily. We can still be into the characters and like them and grow with them. but there wasn't anything that we got that explains exactly why they're into each other, why they like each other, why they wanted to pursue this relationship in the first place, other than that first moment where they look at each other and decide that that's what they want to pursue. And I think not having that type of backstory doesn't create a lot of connection with their romance. And so I think for me it fell flat there because I wasn't connected to them at all as a couple. There was nothing that I felt like happened that really made me excited to see where they end up. I just knew that they were a couple because that's what the book said, but there wasn't anything leading up to it that I saw that made me think that, oh, he's a good boyfriend, she's a good girlfriend, like they would be so sweet together, I'm rooting for them to get together. It was really just, hey, we're good friends, and then there was this thing that changed everything, but we don't necessarily know what that thing was because it was just their inner feelings towards each other coming out, but we didn't get an inside glimpse of those inner feelings. So I think that for me, I was a little bit disconnected with their whole entire relationship throughout the whole book because I didn't feel like we got those pieces that we needed. And since we didn't get those pieces early on, I don't really have anything to base that relationship off of moving forward. So I'm not like rooting for them as they're young, so therefore I'm not really rooting for them that much as they're older because I don't really know why they wanted to be together in the first place, so I can't necessarily say, yeah, I agree with or disagree with them getting together. Hopefully that makes sense. I mean, just like, even in the present timeline, we're just watching their actions of trying to come back together and not necessarily why they want to come back together, other than they've always had these feelings for each other and are wanting to act on them again. So I think for me, I didn't really connect with their relationship. I wasn't super swooning over it or anything like that. I wasn't eager to see them back together. It was nice, it was cute, it was fun, but it wasn't like something that I was itching for and like can't sit in my seat until they get back together. I didn't have those like heart racing moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so sweet, like like get together, kiss her already, you know what I mean? And I think that that's what I like. I like that budding anticipation that I get from reading a romance, and there just wasn't anything written in this that made me feel that way, unfortunately. I do wish there was. I think that I would have enjoyed it so much more if I did have some of those feelings, and it's not the end of the world. I do think that I liked other aspects of it outside of it just being a romance, so I'm okay with it. Kind of on that same thing, I wrote in my notes that it felt like I was following their relationship. It felt like a book on their relationship, not on their romance. I don't know how to explain that other than, for me, romance, I feel like, is a very particular thing. Like we are feeling what they're feeling, but since we weren't feeling anything with this, it just felt like we are watching their relationship progress, not necessarily like any romance in their relationship. I know Haley's not a spice person, and that's fine. Like, I didn't expect her to be spice in it. I didn't want spice. I didn't need spice. Like, I'm fine without it. But I think even the sweet and romantic gestures weren't there for me, which is why I don't feel like it was romantic at all, and it was really just following the relationship. It was like a relationship novel, not a romance novel, in my opinion. And then overall, I think the story as a whole was really sweet and really enjoyable. I'm not one that usually likes to dive into the topics of grief. Now, I know people write what they know, write what they want to get across to other people, and that's totally fine. I'm not faulting that at all. So if somebody is going through griefs, the stages of grief, all that, and they want to kind of express their thoughts, feelings, concerns with that topic to the world in form of a book, fine, I have no problem with it. It's just not typically something that I relate to super heavily. Any author's allowed to talk about whatever they want. Obviously, it's not up to me to decide. It's not my decision to be made, and that's totally fine. I just think that for me, I usually don't care about topics like this, but in this book, I was not mad about it at all. I actually liked the other things that were going on in the book, the grief topics, the coming back to your hometown to take care of your aunt, and then trying to deal with the loss of her, and then also what to do with the belongings. I think that was more interesting than the relationship aspect of the book, because that part wasn't near and dear to my heart. I wasn't super connecting with it at all. So for me, I latched on to the first part, the main literary fiction, non-romance part of it, more than I did the romance. So I enjoyed that aspect of it, which is very unusual because I expected to want more of the romance out of this than I did. And I think just because it was a little bit plainer, I think that that's what pushed me to want to dive into the deeper topics, because those were a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more stimulating, I guess. I think I enjoyed that a lot more because there was a lot more going on with it, rather than just the, in my opinion, more plain, stale romance of the two. Now overall, I really enjoyed the book. I think it was really sweet. I think that the writing, look, we talked about it. I don't dive into the writing style very much. I think that there was a couple parts of this book where I'm like, I probably wouldn't have said that, but not anything crazy. I know I've seen other reviews where people are like mad about the what are they called? Synonyms. The synonyms that were used and just the word choices that were used, which I'm fine with a big word in a book. I love learning big words because I have the smallest little vocabulary ever, and if I do use a big word, chances are I don't know exactly what it means. I just feel like I know where it fits in, and chances are it's wrong. So I think getting to read books and experience words that I've either never heard of or words that I kind of know what they mean but not enough to like actually use them, I enjoy it, okay? I like it. I think it's fun. So I'm not mad about this. I couldn't care less, actually. I don't really pay too much attention to that, so I think for other people to really focus on that, if that's what you need to focus on to enjoy a book or not enjoy a book, then that's, you know, totally you. I couldn't give a crap, to be honest. But overall, I think that the writing style was good. I liked it. I think that I enjoyed that type of writing, but I would enjoy that type of writing for something that was a little bit more eventful in my opinion. Again, I said I didn't care for the romance. I think that the romance was a little boring, and I think that for having a writing style that is so upbeat and like of that nature, I would have actually liked to enjoy the entire book as a whole and just enjoy the romance from it and liked what the characters were doing and all that. And I think for me it just felt a little bit flat. So the writing was good, which made up for it because it made the other parts of the book good. But the romance, again, it just, that really killed it for me. I wanted the romance to be a lot better than it was. And I think that's going to affect my rating more than I would like it to, unfortunately. Rating, I think, obviously I don't do half stars or anything like that. I think I would stick with a 3-star, and it's not like a low 3-star. It would be like a 3.5 maybe. I still enjoyed it. I think it was really good, but again, there was just some things that I was maybe expecting from it that I didn't get, or just, you know, some lacking things. Again, main thing was just the romance. If we got a little bit more romance in it and not as much relationship, I think I would have enjoyed that a lot more. I think I would have been a little bit more swooned by the characters. And I think if the characters swooned me a little bit more, then I think I would have enjoyed it more, and I think I would have given it that 4-star. But nonetheless, it was still good. I think for a debut novel, absolutely incredible. I don't think that I could have even remotely done anything similar, nor will I ever attempt to do anything similar by any means. But overall, I still love Haley Pham. I still will forever be obsessed with her. I think it's such a full circle moment to have watched someone for so long do something like this, and I think it's so exciting. And I probably will forever be amazed by Miss Haley Pham herself. But that's it. That's all we got. Let me know if you have picked up Just Friends, and if you have read it, let me know what your thoughts and opinions were. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my thoughts and or rating of the book. But as always, I appreciate you so much for being here, and I hopefully will get to see you in the next one next week. Bye!